Welcome back to Football Daily, and with the transfer window wide open again, clubs across Europe can start throwing around their money. So here we are with the best of the week for this episode of Transfer Talk. And if you hear anything yourself, tweet me at Zach Jellab with the hashtag Transfer Talk or stick it down in the comments below. Let's get to it. We kick off this week with the latest twist in the future of Matthijs de Ligt. The Ajax captain continues to attract interest from the Premier League, however a deal to move to England's northwest looks increasingly unlikely as the 19-year-old looks to join teammate Frenkie de Jong in Catalonia. But as you'd imagine, Mino Raiola is trying to get as much out of the deal as possible. The super agent represents de Ligt and has reportedly requested a higher salary for his client as well as a larger agent's fee. The Blaugrana are not willing to budge on their offer. However, Manchester United are willing to pay whatever it may take to get the Golden Boy through the doors at Old Trafford. Despite this though, de Ligt's preference remains the Camp Nou, where he would reunite with double-winning teammate de Jong, who similarly resisted the strong financial package on offer from PSG. £75 million is the price tag Ajax are quoting for the teenager, which would equal Van Dijk's record fee for a centre-back. But Barcelona seem confident they'll secure his signature and set up their defence for the next decade and beyond. One player though that seems he could be on his way to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United is Portuguese wonder kid Joao Felix. The 19-year-old scored 15 and bagged 7 assists as Benfica edged out Porto to the Liga NOS crown at the weekend. Not afraid to show their financial muscle, United have signalled an intention to meet Felix's release clause of €105 million. But they could face stiff competition from Atletico Madrid. Diego Simeone's side will have a lot of money to spend once Antoine Griezmann is out the door, and the Portuguese under-21 international has been identified as the ideal replacement. The youngster hasn't given any indication on what his future holds, but if he is to live up to the billing of the next Cristiano Ronaldo, then the Theatre of Dreams could be his next stage. Just before we move on to our next transfer story, make sure you guys have subscribed to Football Daily. Please help us get to 1.6 million subscribers and click the notification bell so you're notified on every single video we upload. Griezmann's departure from the Wanda Metropolitano will have consequential knock-on effects in the transfer market. Another name that Atleti are eyeing up to fill the hole left by the 28-year-old is Manchester City striker Gabriel Jesus. The 22-year-old made just 15 starts in all competitions for Pep Guardiola this season, and despite finding the net 21 times, he doesn't look like beating Sergio Aguero to the starting lineup anytime soon. And if the Brazilian is on the way out, Pep could use him as a make-weight in their bid to sign Rodri. The Spanish holding midfielder has a £70 million release clause, which City are willing to pay, however the belief is they can bring down that price if Jesus is included in a deal. Whether that be a straight swap or City stumping up a bit of cash remains to be seen, but it would feel an immediate need for either side. Jesus isn't the only attacker that could be leaving the Etihad this summer. Bayern Munich are apparently very confident they can secure the signing of Leroy Sané. The Bavarian side are in need of wingers, after Frank Ribéry and Ian Robben made their final appearances for the team. Back in January there were a number of bids made for Callum Hudson-Odoi, but since then the Chelsea winger has injured his Achilles, meaning Kovac and co have had to switch their focus. Pep Guardiola still has a positive relationship with the side he managed between 2013 and 2016, winning 7 trophies, and Bayern are the only side Sané could consider leaving the blue half of Manchester for. Much like Jesus, the German international has seen his game time limited, but contributed 20 goals in the league despite a third of his appearances coming from the bench. Valued between 150 and €200 million by CIES, you'd expect Bayern would have to break their transfer record for the third time in as many seasons if Sané is to feature at the Allianz Arena next campaign. Moving on to Spurs now, where the question asked in the boardroom every single summer seems to be, can we find someone good enough to back Harry Kane up? Fernando Llorente, Lucas Moura and Heung-min Son have all deputised in the Englishman's absence, but none can claim to be true strikers. So a move for Celta Vigo's Maxi Gomez makes perfect sense. The Uruguayan, who netted 13 for the relegation-threatened side this campaign, was close to joining West Ham in January, but held off in order to see out the season with his current club. A release clause of £43 million will need to be triggered, and the Hammers have effectively admitted defeat to their London rivals, as Gomez wants Champions League football. If this deal does go through, it would mark the first time Spurs have had a decent alternative to Kane, and if their form at the back end of the season is anything to go by, they certainly need one. And we continue to keep it Premier League for this story, as Everton are looking to bolster their strike force ahead of next season. The Toffees have struggled to settle their centre-forward role, with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison and St Tosun all sharing responsibility. Bournemouth's Callum Wilson is the player earmarked to nail down that position for Marco Silva's side next campaign. The Cherries star striker found the net 14 times in the league last season, and is expected to command a fee of around £35 million, considerably less than the figure being touted for him when Chelsea came calling at the turn of the year. Everton have spent heavily the last few campaigns, so will likely need to sell first to finance this move. Tosun could be one on the way out, as well as fellow flops Oumar Niasse and Yannick Bolasie. If Silva is able to shift those three and more, he'd certainly welcome a natural goalscorer into the fold at Goodison Park. Time to hop on to the managerial merry-go-round, and following the announcement that Max Allegri will be stepping down from Juventus at the end of the season, names to take the job have started to fly. And if the newly crowned Serie A MVP Cristiano Ronaldo has any say in it, there could be a surprise return to management for Jose Mourinho. The Portuguese coach is well remembered in Italy, especially by Inter fans, for masterminding back-to-back Scudettos as well as a historic treble. CR7 has scored the most goals as a Mourinho player, and shared the same agent in Jorge Mendes, so maybe this isn't too outlandish. Slightly more feasible could be Maurizio Sarri making his way back to Serie A. Close to being sacked on numerous occasions this season, the Chelsea boss, whilst publicly stating his desire to stay at Stamford Bridge, would also welcome a move home. And should Juve make an approach, the club won't stand in his way provided the £5 million compensation package is paid by the Turin side. If Sarri does clear out his Chelsea office, it could also pave the way for a certain Frank Lampard to make a sensational return. And we'll end this week's transfer talk with one of the most bizarre managerial rumours you'll hear this summer. Argentina legend Gabriel Batistuta wants the Middlesbrough job. Yes, that's right, Batigol, who has no managerial experience since retiring from the game in 2005, has completed his coaching badges and has expressed interest in starting his career in the dugout in England. Only Messi has scored more for Argentina than the 50-year-old, but it doesn't look like the Borough Board want him to grace the touchline at the Riverside. Instead, favourite to get the job is local lad Jonathan Woodgate. That's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure you've hit the like button down below and tell us what you thought in the comment section. And why not check out the video on screen? I'm sure you guys will love it. As always guys, subscribe to the channel and we'll see you later.